is that service is part of our lives.
Correct.
Okay, so we're not saying don't serve. We're not saying don't be a part of things. We're not saying don't go to church. We're not saying don't take your kids with you. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is overcommitting to things. Okay,
balance is
balance. Blessings, everyone. I'm Dr. WeTheGarzas Jr., and this is...
Hi, everyone. My name is WeTheGarzas. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. It's so good to be with you once again.
Yeah, I want to welcome you to our next episode here on the Marriage Matters podcast. Yeah, we've done a few of these already.
Right.
We're getting the hang of it. We're liking it, I think, right? I mean...
Yeah, it's been absolutely fun.
Yeah, it has.
It really has been. Just to talk about some of these things that we really, really hope and pray will be beneficial to your relationships, particularly your marriage, but it helps, I think, all across our different important relationships that we have in our lives.
Yeah, and I think, the thing about like Marriage Matters is it's not just about the marriage. Yes, we focus on marriage and marital issues and topics, but we also feel like this extends outside of marriage, right?
Correct, right. Because when we're saying marriage matters, we're saying two things. We're talking about matters that have to do with the marriage, but we're also saying marriage matters because it's the foundation of great families, a great society, a great world.
Right.
And that's why the focus is marriage, right?
Yeah. So I hope that you've been enjoying our time together. Our hope and our desire is that you're sharing this with someone else. So don't forget to follow us on Instagram, on Facebook,
and on YouTube.
And we're also on Spotify.
That's
just
right.
FYI,
audio.
And I love the Spotify because, as I'm driving here to the church, I'm driving to home, whatever, you can be listening to that. So
absolutely. So if it's been a blessing for you, like Dr. Elias mentioned, share it with someone so that it could also perhaps be a blessing to them.
Yeah. So let's get into today's topic.
Right.
And today, you want to talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing?
So what we want to do is for the next few podcasts, we have something that we've called marriage assassins.
Oof.
So things that come and try to disrupt the marital relationship, things that come and try to attack that relationship which God forms so perfectly, the unity, the everything that has to do with the marriage. What are some things that are common to our world, to our society, that are attacking and hindering us from having a good marriage? So today, our hope is to be able to talk about 3 of those.
Okay.
But hold on.
Okay.
We're not just going to talk about the assassins. We're also going to talk about the solutions, because this is a podcast where we don't just want to give you problems. We want to give you solutions. That is our goal for today.
Yeah, that's it. So, we hope that it's productive, that there's fruit from this, right? So, marriage assassins, that sounds scary. That sounds like a movie.
Right. But it is scary, because this is the most important relationship. And if something comes to attack it and we give it power, it can definitely ruin not just you and me, but our children and the generations after us. And that is pretty scary. Yeah,
it is scary. One of the things that we want to make sure that is that these marriage assassins go just about for everyone.
Right.
These are very general, because we want to give you something that it's not just for a specific group of people or a specific type of marriage, but just people in general, right? 2 married people that come together, and some of the obstacles, some of the assassins that you will undoubtedly face in your marriage. So let's get into the first one, okay? This assassin number 1 is overcommitment and physical exhaustion. All right, so let me say that again. Assassin number 1, being overcommitted and being exhausted physically, okay? So I guess it has to do with trying to do it all, right?
Like the attitude of trying to do it all.
Like, I have to be in everything, everywhere, all the time.
Right.
Just put it on me and I'm going to make it happen.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about overcommitment. What does that look like?
I think that, it's so that you don't feel guilty if this is something that you're doing, because I think we all have to navigate through it. Like it comes, these assassins come and they try to attack all of us. And I think we've been there where, we feel like we have to prove ourselves, whether it's in the beginning of a marriage or when you are transitioning to a new job. It's really difficult because this can come in subtly. And I think that's the whole idea behind some of these assassins. They will come in and you don't even realize it. So when we're talking about
They're sneaky.
Right. So when we're talking about overcommitment and physical exhaustion, is the inability to say no to things.
Okay.
So we're good people. We want to help others. So we want to serve, and we just don't know how to say no. So we say yes to all of these opportunities because it could be that we're trying to prove ourselves, or it could be that we really have this heart to serve.
Well, in principle, it's a good thing.
Right.
Having that desire to say, I want to help, count on me. I have a talent. I want to share it. I want to serve in this aspect. In principle, those are good things because, this is a biblical podcast, right? And we were talking about this earlier. Jesus came to serve and not to be served. So part of our DNA as believers is we want to serve. We want to be a part of things, but overcommitting to these things could be very dangerous.
Correct. Because, we attended a marriage conference early in our marriage, and it was a very practical a conference. And one of the things is it was a very simple message, but it spoke volumes.
We needed it at this time. I just want to say that. We went to that marriage conference
thinking we didn't need it, but we did need it.
We needed that conference at that season. Okay, so anyways.
But that message, that really spoke volumes, not just to me, but I think to you as well, was when you say yes to something, you say no to something else. So when we are talking about overcommitment, if I'm saying yes to late hours, or yes to serving more, or yes to doing more, or yes to, doing favors outside of the house, those are all good things. But if we don't learn how to gauge ourselves, then all of those opportunities that we're saying yes to that are outside of the house, that means we're saying no to our children. That means we're saying no to our spouse. That means we're saying no to the things that God has put in our hands to be responsible for.
And I love that. I just want to make this clear, is that service is part of our lives.
Correct.
Okay, so we're not saying don't serve. We're not saying don't be a part of things. We're not saying don't go to church. We're not saying don't take your kids with you. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is overcommitting to things. Okay?
Balance is what.
Balance. I've learned, and myself, I've learned, this is a key, maybe for you, is use your calendar. Use your calendar. Nowadays, that iCal, that Apple Calendar, that Google Calendar, you can even put times, right? From 3 to 4, from 6 to 7, from 9 to 11. And you can start balancing yourself out when you use a calendar. I've gotten better at this because I used to be bad at this. I mean, I'm guilty, right? And you didn't say amen, but you did nod subtly there. But I thought that the more I did, the better I was. But the fact of the matter is that the more I did, the less effective I was in the things that I truly wanted to do. And
I think that one of our things, early on in our marriage, we have 2 boys, and when they were younger, we wanted to serve. And that was something that you and I talked about. It was a priority for us to serve in the church, to give of our time. And to, we both felt that calling and that tug. But one thing that we've been talking about, we had a marriage conference that we led a few weeks ago, and the idea is you don't have to separate ministry and family. You can do ministry is life on life. So if I'm committing to serving, then I want to commit to serve with my spouse. And you know what? I'm going to take my children for a ride. This is going to be a family thing. So there are certain things that we can commit to, but we just have to be really wise about how we are committing. We don't always have to separate ourselves from our families or from our marriages when we're doing things. Yes.
Yeah. So, to kind of sum this up really quick, and then we want to give the solution, right?
Right.
That final solution that we have here, trying to do it all is never going to work. Okay.
Correct.
And all it's going to create with that overcommitment is physical exhaustion.
Yes.
They become a result of one another, right?
A burnout.
Yeah. So, one of the things is talk about your schedules. I mentioned that really quick. Have open and honest conversations with each other, with your spouse. Hey, is this working? Am I attached to the house? Am I becoming unattached? Even in my marriage, right? So we want to do that. Ask questions. Write down your priorities. I think this is an important thing, kind of like your budget. Sometimes that we have to budget things. Put first things first. And I think that's a really good principle. And give priority to the things that you care about
the most. Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. And again, not compensating one thing for another. Like we were talking about right now, we can win at everything. We can win at life. We can win in ministry. We can win in our marriage. We can win leading our children. We don't have to give up one for the other, but we do have to prioritize, and we do have to balance this out in the scope of the season that we're living in, because even those seasons will change.
And I love that you said that, because if we write down what our priorities are, then we can look at those things. And if I'm saying my priority is my marriage, but I haven't gone on a date with my husband in 2-3 weeks, then is my priority really my marriage?
Right.
So we have to match what we're saying is our priority to what we are doing and where we are spending our energy, our time, our effort, our sacrifice. Yeah. So that's something that would be really good for you to do. If you don't know, maybe we have blind spots, and we have to have that accountability person to kind of help guide us through that. And writing it down and having those open, honest conversations will go a long way. Okay, but we could talk about this forever.
Yeah, let's go to the second assassin.
So assassin number 2 is keeping up with the Joneses. I mean, we've all heard of this phrase.
It's an older phrase. Maybe some of the newer couples might not have heard of it, but we're going to explain it.
But they've heard of keeping up with the Kardashians, and it's basically the same thing, because it's this attitude. It's this mindset of trying to have it all. At any cost. I don't care who gets in my way. I need to have these things, because these are the things that I want. And I think that will lead into our next assassin. But let's stay on this for a little bit.
Okay.
So keeping up with the Joneses is trying to have it all, because there's this spirit of comparison. Right now, we're living in a world where social media is just at the top of everyone's list. People are on their phones, they're looking at Facebook, at Instagram, at TikTok. Right. And what we tend to see when we're looking at social media is what everyone else has. And if I don't have it, then I might feel smaller. So this attitude that I'm trying to have it all in my marriage. We can't afford a vacation, but they want on a vacation. So let's go get a loan and let's go treat ourselves. So this attitude of trying to have it all will sometimes, most times, if you're not careful, it can destroy a marriage.
Absolutely. Man, I think this is going to touch home to a lot of people. I don't think it matters if you're in month 3, year 3, or year 30. The tendencies are to want what other people have.
Well, because it's so glamorous, right? The way it's...
Well, apparently, yes.
The way it's perceived, the way it's posted on social media, it's like, wow, and they're smiling, and you don't see the fight that just happened before the photo.
Right, but you see the pose.
Right, and and I think subconsciously we think, if we could just have that, we could have peace, or if we could just have that, we could attain happiness or feel fulfillment. So we strive to feel those things, but if it's not done in a wise manner, if it's not discussed, it can destroy. So what is the solution for keeping up with the Joneses? And the solutions were, obviously, you have to have this conversation. It always starts with an open, honest conversation. But talk about financial goals with your spouse. What is it that's important financially for you? Is it to have a house? Or are you okay with living in an apartment for another 15 years? We cannot tell you that you need to be living in a house. We cannot tell you should only live in an apartment for 5 years. The idea is that you and your spouse come into an agreement. What is it that you guys want? Talk about those financial goals. Talk about, if you want a house, if you want your kids, you want to start saving now. Your kids are 2, 3 years old, but one day you hope that they're going to go to college.
And it happens fast.
It does. You blink your eyes and then they're 20. Oh my goodness.
Can I interrupt you just to talk to you about financial goals? There's this guy. His name is Dave Ramsey.
Oh, that guy.
And, one of the things that we've discussed many times is like, okay, is renting a good thing? Is buying a house a good thing? Right now, the market is crazy. Interest rates up until now, right, have been a challenge for a lot of people.
Right.
He said something that was kind of okay. I read something. He said this, and I was like, you know what? Maybe so. We've always been the type like maybe because of also our influence of our parents and things like that. Like renting is you're throwing your money away or whatever. But he said this, and I understand this. He said renting is not throwing your money away. It's buying you time.
Oh, that's a good way to see it.
So that's a good way, and I thought that was interesting because I was raised in the sense of, no, don't rent because you're throwing money away. You could be using that money for something else, but it all depends on the dynamic of the marriage, right? Sometimes it is, I need to buy time. I just need to get through this season of a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever that would be, so that I can purchase a home.
Right.
And
so you can be in a better place.
But I think one of the things that you said, we talk about a lot, especially in this podcast and our marriage and when we counsel couples, is agreement.
Right.
Make sure you're in agreement and that your financial goals are set. That way, everyone's working towards the same goal, right?
There's a common goal,
you and your spouse
vision.
And even your children. It's like, well, why are we here? Well, because guys, we're not going to be here forever, but we're this, and this, and we're going to get here, there, and over there.
Yeah, because I know the beginning of our marriage, we didn't vacation very often. When our kids were growing up, our vacations were to South Padre Island and to San Antonio.
Well, for those that don't know where we're at, we're in the tip of Texas. Okay, so we're in South Texas.
Those were easily accessible. Yeah. But we didn't start having nicer vacations until recently. Why? Because one of our financial goals was to pay off our house.
Right.
And thank God that we were able to accomplish that. So now we have flexibility to pay for our kids' college, to go on vacation. But some of those things, we weren't doing them, but we were putting them off, and we were hoping and waiting for that day to arrive, and that day did arrive.
There's another Instagram account that I follow. It's called Visual Hustles.
Okay.
And I love I love the way they lay out their Instagram posts and all of that. But one of the things that I've learned from this Instagram account, right, is there's two options: work hard and play later, or play now and work hard later. Okay. So what do you want to do? And this is a reminder for those of you that are younger. This is a time when you have the strength, you have the health
to work hard.
So you can maybe play later. We're talking about vacations, right? Take those vacations later instead of maybe doing that now, but then at the older part of your life, when your health might not be there, where your finances might not be there, you're having to find things to do at a different pace, with a different body, with a different energy than maybe when you were younger. And I wanted to bring that as we close this episode today, because a lot of times we want to indulge in the present without thinking about the cost of the future.
Or the cost that it's even having now, because you're running into debt or you're sacrificing things that are important.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that we learned was to appreciate the present, the simple things, going with our kids to the park. It wasn't a vacation like maybe someone else at the time was having, but we could envision doing that later. And it was okay that our vacation was to South Padre Island and not to Aruba. We enjoyed every minute, and those memories are just as precious.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So again, assassin number 1 was overcommitment and physical exhaustion. And the second one that we shared with you today was keeping up with the Joneses, or keeping up with the Kardashians.
Right.
How do you say that? Kardashians?
Yes.
Whatever that is. Okay. Well, that's for you younger folk. Okay. But again, thank you for this time that you give us. We hope that you learned something and join in the conversation. Follow us on YouTube. Hear us on Spotify. Follow us on social media. Again, I'm Dr. Elias Garza Jr.
And I'm Ruby Garza, licensed marriage and family therapist. God bless you guys.
Until next time.